Well, what a massive, massive, massive proud moment it was again last night. For the second time, the country took to their front doors, went out and applauded and shared their love and support for the NHS. I, for one, was there with my family. We were out, we were proud, we were clapping our hands. My window was lit up blue all night long, as it was last week as well, because we have to support and we have to show our love and our appreciation for the NHS, because they are working tirelessly. They are putting themselves first to make sure that they do what they can for everybody else in the country. So I'm going to again just do my own personal applaud. Please join in with me, because without the NHS we would be in a real mess, let's face it. Now keep those applause going for my next guest on today's podcast. He's been entertaining all his followers and friends on social media by performing in his bedroom, and he tells us all about what has now become a hashtag that is trending on social media, hashtag bedroom studio. We'll be talking very shortly with Ian Fox. Now, Ian is a professional actor and singer, and believe you me, he's one of the best vocalists I've ever worked with, so he'll be joining me very soon to have a little bit of a chat about what he's been up to and what he's got planned for the future, and also a few things that have changed in his life due to the coronavirus outbreak. And you never know, there might even be a little treat at the end of it. So this is going to be my last podcast for this week. I'm going to have the weekend off to just put my feet up and enjoy doing nothing really. I won't lie to you. Probably Netflix, probably a bit of wine as well, but yeah, I'm going to just have a few days to myself, spend some time with the family. Do get in touch if you want to be on the podcast next week, or if you want me to say anything or discuss anything. And don't forget, if there's any funny moments that have happened to you so far, let me know. So now it's time to bring on my guest. Bring on Ian Fox to have a little bit of a chat about what he's been up to and what he's got coming up. So hello Ian, and welcome to my podcast. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode. How are you? How is life treating you so far in this lockdown?
Hi, Chris. I'm fine, thank you, I think. Life, well, certainly different at the moment, but all is good, I think, just now.
Good.
It's all right, yeah.
Good. So what are you doing to keep yourself busy and keep your mind active?
Well, up to the end of last week, I was doing still had a little bit of work to do. I was doing lots of costume maintenance. We did take advantage of the time to do a little bit of work that we wouldn't normally do till later on in the year. So that was okay. But now we've done that now. So basically, lots of stuff around the house that I wouldn't normally get around to, and I've started doing my own little videos for social media as well. So that's it, really.
I am a fan as well. I am a fan. So you, like most people, are taking to DIY and housework and cleaning and general chores, because, let's face it, there's not a great deal else to do at the minute.
No, not very much at all. So, yes, it'd be really good if I could sort of declutter my house. So that's why I'm taking advantage of this time. I started doing Couch to 5K yesterday because my gym's closed, obviously, so I needed to do something. I'm having a look at other sort of hit apps as well today to see if I can alternate those. So, yeah, I'm trying not to just use my time up watching box sets.
Yes, which I think... Well, I am. That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm abusing Netflix and everything else. So, Ian, you know, we're seeing quite a lot of people doing things from home and sharing things and entertaining people from their homes. Now, you have started a thing yourself, hashtag bedroom studio. Now, I love it. I really do love it. You know, just the name, but also what you're doing. And just tell us a little bit about like what you've started, what you're doing, and how do you choose what songs to do and things?
Well, it sort of started off as a bit of nothing. I go to a dance school, and the principal, who's one of my best friends, she started doing just little bits of dance videos, and the local BBC had picked it up, and then there's a company in America that's picked it up as well, and she's got a following in the States. And I was watching it, and then one of the other teachers did it, and I saw a few other people doing things, and I just thought, well, I don't know what I can do apart from what I do, which is sing songs. So I thought, well, I'll just do a couple of things. And I started off doing a song that I should have been singing live in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute.
We will indeed.
And I just thought, well, people have asked me about it and they're really disappointed that they couldn't come and see the show. So I thought I'll sing a song from that. And I hadn't even thought of the whole bedroom studio thing. And I just said it as a just off the cuff remark before one of the songs. And then that's sort of, everyone sort of picked that up as a hashtag now. So all I try and do a couple of songs a day, one to dance to and one to chill to. And how do I pick them? They just sort of come to me, really. Obviously, I know quite a few songs, so I pick what I know. I try not to make it too difficult for myself. People have been asking for things. But sometimes, like the sun shone a couple of days ago, it was a really sunny day and it just reminded me of my mum. And I thought, well, I'll just do two songs that my mum would have liked me to sing. And then the other day somebody asked, quite a few people have asked me for Disney things. So I thought, you know what, I'll just do a Disney song today and I'll try that. Unfortunately, I did lose a relation at the weekend, and then that impacted on my choices as well, because I only did one song. And so I did Amazing Grace because it felt right for that moment. So there's all sorts of reasons and things influences for it help me choose my songs, but there isn't a hard and fast rule right now. So they just come to me.
Whatever enters your mind, that's what you do.
Yes.
Well, I personally, I am loving it, and I will be honest, I look every day on my newsfeed, like, where's Ian's song? Where's Ian's song? And I look and I listen. My mum is a massive fan. She actually calls you now my Ian. I said to her today, I said, I'm going to have a chat today for the podcast with Ian. She said, oh, what, my Ian? I said, yes, Mum, you're Ian. You know, she listens as well. She's a big fan. So, I mean, things like what you're doing, they are really important at the minute, because people like yourself, you know, you're not able to work as such. So things like this are really good, because you can still put your talents and things out there. You can still do what you do and share it to the world, and you can still kind of practice for a way, because, you know, you as a singer, you must have to keep up singing on a day-to-day basis and keep your vocal cords oiled, so to speak. So things like this, they are very important, and a lot of people are doing them. Would you say, like, they are important to do, and would you encourage more people to do it and keep on doing it even after all this is finished?
Well, I do wonder whether this will actually carry on and whether it will become a thing. And yes, I do believe it is really important for both sides of it, really. For us as performers, I think it's really important that we keep performing. I'm sure, as you know, literally the whole industry has just crashed. It's all shut down. And, you know, a lot of actors have gone to work in supermarkets, they're volunteers, they're driving for food deliveries and stuff like that. They're doing all sorts of stuff. But it is amazing, if you don't do it for a bit, it's amazing how quickly your voice goes or changes a little bit. So it is really good. I mean, we should be practicing every day anyway, but quite often if we're working, we are doing that anyhow. So I think it is really important for us on our side of the camera or on the microphone or whatever to carry on doing it, just so we really don't forget what we're doing and we keep on top of what we're doing. But equally, on the other side, I think all of the audience that was out there that were due to be literally flooding through the West End every day of the week, going to all of the regional theatres, going to all the concerts, even really now we're starting to hear the closure of all the festivals. So all those people who are going to festivals, I think I've always believed that there is always an audience. An audience will never go away, and they need their thing too. They need their fix of whatever creative art it is. And the fact that we are seeing people, even on the smallest level, doing TikTok videos and stuff like that, keeping people entertained, using their skills, singing and dancing, and even doing some artwork. I saw from my oldest friends down in the Midlands was on a website yesterday where they were with their kids, where they did some artwork and it was painting a hair, you know, and as in rabbit, not hair. And the results are amazing. And I think it just keeps up those skills then. And I've been overwhelmed by the response I've got from just sort of my smallish circle of friends. And then it's been getting slightly bigger over the last week with people that I haven't seen since school, adding me on social media, and things like that. So I think it is becoming a thing and is already a thing, and it would be good if these sort of things carried on a little bit once it had gone, because I think it's just a different aspect. I think everyone's just discovered what else they can do.
It is, and as well, it's nice to see like actual raw talent and footage, because it's so easy these days to record, and it's so easy to buy a microphone and sit in some makeshift studio or whatever and record a song. It's so nice to see all these people who are doing it just on a phone, and what you're hearing is what you should be hearing. There's no editing, there's nothing else added to it. It's just pure talent. And I, for one, I'm really enjoying that, the fact that there's all these people doing things, yourself included, and it's just literally you and whatever you're singing to. And I would love for this to carry on after all this is finished, and still seeing floods of people singing songs. Now, in terms of working from home and things, like the majority of the country are working from home. You can't, because there's nothing you can do from home other than what you're doing now and sharing things on social media. So what would be your thoughts for Facebook to introduce a donate button to people's live videos, or people who are working within a certain sector, say, their videos, they can have a donate button, so you can still get some kind of income from what you're doing? Because in theory, you are doing your job. You are working from home by doing your little videos.
Yeah, that is true. We are. I think it might be something to think about, but I think as with a lot of these things, for example, the other day I did a video the other day, and Facebook muted out a section because I'd cobbled together a backing track and I needed some backing vocals in. It was recognised by whatever the technology is as being from another thing, and so that bit of my song was muted out. So clearly, the copyright and things are still all in there, and obviously, as soon as you start making money off other people's music, then you've got to start being a little bit careful. So I think there has to be. I mean, if this goes on for a long time, people are sort of earning a little bit. I know there was a lot of hooing and hawing at the beginning about how people were going to survive, and the government have put in some measures which haven't actually kicked in yet, but hopefully it will soon. I mean, self-employed people are looking forward to June when they can start, or hopefully get some payments starting to come through. So yeah, people do have to start trying to earn some money. So there would have to be, I think, globally, there would have to be some sort of agreement within social media, whether or not you would have to pay something yourself to be able to use, just like a standard sort of PRS type performing rights certificate or whatever, if you had to apply for that, and make it nice and simple. I think the difficulty with a lot of things at the moment is that everything is so hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to apply for your benefits. It's hard to work out what schemes there are to help people as they go along. Even before all this, it was really difficult to find funding for arts projects, and you had to jump through so many hoops. I think what perhaps ought to happen is all these things need to be made a bit simpler, and if we want to carry on doing things, earning a living, and if there is an online living to be made even after this, we need to be able to see what we can do and not have big blanket prohibitions on things. And I think it would be a really good idea for everyone to look at this. But I do think, in all honesty, not just the performing arts world, I think the world's going to change after this.
It is. No, you're right.
The way people work and the way people don't work even is going to be very different, I think, after all this, because it is like we've had a big reset button. So we know that some shows in London are closing and not going to be opening again, but they were coming near the end of their runs. We don't know if there's new shows that were due to be starting, when they're going to be starting. I've just seen this morning that a new show by Styles and Drew was due to open soon, based on The Parent Trap, and that was due to open soon, and now that's been postponed. but it's with a big fingers crossed because they don't even know whether that's going to happen. I mean, who knows? Who knows if we're going to still be in this position when we get to Christmas, because we can't have the whole of the Panto system go down, surely, because that's such a big part of the industry.
It's massive. Possibly every theatre in the country relies on Panto season in order to get by. And so, for that to be affected would be catastrophic in the long run for a lot of places.
Yeah, so we do need to have a look, I think, at how it's all going to work, how we are going to move forward, and how we can all make a living. And even more so, how we can still provide the audience with what they want, because, as I said, the audience is still there and they really want to see and hear things.
Totally, yeah. I mean, I, for one, if there was a way for me to press a button and donate and support people doing this, I'd be all over it. I'll be there at the top of the queue. Like I say, I love it. It's one of the highlights of my days is seeing what is there to watch and be entertained. Now, you mentioned about shows being cancelled, and you briefly mentioned it earlier. Now, talk to me about Shrek, because you were due to be performing as the Green Man himself, weren't you?
Yes, I was due to be taken on for a second time because I did it a few years ago on the Isle of Man in a professional production. And in the last few years, I've decided to not only fill up my days with working in the industry, but I've been doing it as a hobby as well. So I was playing the role again in Blackpool at the Grand for Blackpool Operatic Players. And we were due on next week. So and we got incredible ticket sales.
Yes.
This is what I mean about the audience. The sales were the best sales we'd had in such a long time as a group. And unfortunately, obviously, that's having to be postponed now. We don't know when. It's looking likely it's going to be next year rather than this year, but we don't know the ins and outs of it all. So it's hugely disappointing because we'd put so much work in, and
Yes.
the show was looking great. And as we were approaching sort of the last 3 weeks of rehearsals, the show was really great. And all it needed really was the icing on top, the set and the costumes, and it would have been brilliant. And it still will be brilliant. Whenever we do it, we are assured that it is going to go ahead. But these things are really disappointing. I know that there was a production of Shrek as well in Barrow-in-Furness that was meant to be a couple of weeks ago, and of course that was affected. All the amateur shows have been affected over the next few months. Some have managed to move. It's almost slightly more difficult with amateur shows than it is with professional shows because there are so many other elements.
Yes.
There's the costume hire, the set hire, the actual license for the show, which obviously you don't have really when you're doing a professional show because it's just granted and it's yours for however long you need it. So it is proving a little tricky for some groups to redo their show for postponing it. But there was going to be just again last week before going to be a brilliant production of Gypsy in Lytham, and that's had to be moved on by a year as well. So all these things are going to happen, and I'm confident that once we get there, the audiences will be desperate to see these things.
That's it. Yeah, I think as much as all the hype and everything has been created for these shows so far, it's just temporarily we've just hit pause. We'll pick up again next year for all these shows because they are still going to happen. And everybody I've kind of spoken to who are involved in the arts and things, they've all said the exact same thing of next year. So I think next year is going to be a massive year for all these shows because people are going to come back bigger and better anyway to kind of say, look, we went away for a short while, but we are back. We're back bigger. We're back stronger. And here it is. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it seems likely that Blackpool Operatic Players, we're going to be doing 2 shows next year because we've got another show booked in as well. So that looks like it is still going ahead, but Shrek will go ahead as well. So stand by your beds, everyone, because Kinky Boots and Shrek could just hit about the same time. So it could just
Brilliant.
be a very big and busy year.
Next year is going to be the year. It is. I can feel it in my bones. It's going to be the year. Now, speaking of next year and speaking of future, what have you got planned other than Shrek and things? What other projects and what other things have we got to look forward to from you?
Well, again, postponed for now, but will be there eventually. I am part of a group called Voices and Lyrics, and we perform musical theatre and contemporary musical theatre style songs. We formed a good few years ago now with a small concert in Bolton at the Octagon, and we've sort of grown since then. We've had residencies in Manchester. We're a big group, and a few of us perform at a time, and we've done all sorts of different concerts. We've done Christmas ones in the main house at the Octagon as well. And we were due to be performing in the West End at the Other Palace at the beginning of May. So that obviously has now been postponed as well. However, James Edgington, who some of you might know, was part of Father and Son, who were on Britain's Got Talent a few years ago. It was all of his brainchild, and he brought us all together. And through various permutations, obviously, there is now a huge group of us who he can pick from to do Voices and Lyrics things. So next week, on I think it's the 7th, we are doing an online concert. Now, technically, we've done it already because we've all filmed all of our songs. We've all videoed all of our songs.
Right.
And so that's going to be out next week. He's editing it all together at the moment. And we've got some amazing people in the cast. Some members that have been with Voice and Lyrics from the start, but then we've got some celebrity singers as well who are working in the industry, Sue Devaney and Joanne Clifton and Tracy Bennett, and to name but a few, and some West End people, and then Humble Little Me and a few of us as well. A lot of us have worked together before, so we've come together and we've done that. So that is coming out next week, but we are keeping our fingers crossed we can find a new date for the West End show as well. And then hopefully, we just started rehearsals. I was working with some colleagues that I've done pantos and other shows with before, and we were putting together a musical in Manchester, which should have been at the beginning of July. We may have to push it on a little bit now. A little bit more of a grown-up one. Most people are used to see me in very family-friendly shows, but this one is called Saucy Jack and the Space Vixens, and we just started rehearsals for it, and it was going really well. Learning music, a really charismatic group of people. It's only a small cast, very capable, and I'm musical director as well as being in it. And so a few of us we're playing dual roles in that. We're production team and we're in the show as well, and it's set in a cabaret bar. So we've got a cabaret bar just off Canal Street in Manchester, and it was all set, and now we're on a hiatus with that as well. So do look out for that as well.
Indeed.
And so yeah, Saucy Jack will be coming up, and then hopefully back with Pendle Productions, who obviously I've been with for 20 odd years now. We're really hoping that we can get some semblance of a summer season out if the gathering problems are lifted. Then we may be able to do something during the summer because we do outdoor theatre. We don't know yet. We have no idea yet. We work alongside local authorities and we have to be guided by them and obviously government. So we may get some of our summer season out. We're not sure. And then following that will be panto season. So, I mean, I am still sort of in my head, I'm still really busy because I've got loads of things to learn, loads of things to do, as well as doing bedroom studio now. But it's really good for me, like learning all the new stuff.
You just don't know when you need to learn them for.
No, but there's nothing wrong with getting ahead of the game.
Of course.
So I'm always learning. I'm learning all the time anyway. But so there's plenty of all that stuff to do. And I'm sure James is going to ask me to do some, when we've got a new London date, he'll ask me to do some new songs, which I've got to learn. And people are requesting stuff for bedroom studio all the time, which I've got to learn. People are asking me about stuff this morning that I hadn't even thought of. And I will have to get round to learning all my stuff for Saucy Jack as well. So there's lots and lots of things to do to keep occupied. So I really shouldn't be bored in this time.
So the concert for Voices and Lyrics, where can people find it if they want to watch?
Well, you can like the page on Facebook, which is Voices and Lyrics with an ampersand in. So you can find Voices and Lyrics, and if you like the page, James made the announcement yesterday, it will be the 7th, so you'll be able to pick that up. They're also definitely on Instagram, and I think on Twitter, but I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head what they were, but you'll be able to search for Voices and Lyrics on all of the formats, and you'll find out more about it, and then you'll find out a little bit more about us and what we're going to be doing next, because I think we're planning to do a lot more with voices and lyrics moving forward now.
Super. Well, I for one shall be there on the 7th watching. I might even treat myself to a bag of popcorn.
I would if I were you.
So Ian, just before we do depart and go, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and
Okay.
I'm going to ask you for a little bit of a song.
That's fine, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go back to the beginning of Bedroom Studio, which was only a week ago, but it does seem like more than that now. And I sang, my first song was the Act 1 finale for Shrek, which was Who I'd Be. So I can give you a little bit of that, if that's what you'd like.
Awesome, indeed. Go for it.
Okay. So yes, I'd be a hero, and if my wish were granted, my life would be enchanted, or so the stories say. Of course I'd be a hero, and I would scale a tower to save a hothouse flower and carry her away. A perfect happy ending, that's how it should be.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, Ian, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and it's been a pleasure having you on board today.
Thank you very much.
So I will catch up with you very soon.
Very soon.
All the best for everything, and keep on doing your #Bedroom Studios,
Yeah,
because I love them.
#Bedroom Studio.
I'll speak with you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. A very special performance from Mr. Ian Fox there. It's such a shame that Shrek was cancelled. I did have tickets to go and see it myself, but still, there's still the option for next year to go and see it, and I'm sure it will be just as amazing as it would have been this year. Also, don't forget to tune in on the 7th of April. You will get to see Ian doing what he does best on the voices and lyrics. And don't forget, go and find them on Facebook. Go and find them on whatever social media platform you have. Like them and follow them, because believe me, they do have some wonderful, talented singers and performers on there. And you will not be disappointed with what you are being treated to. So again, that is just about it from today's episode of the Lockdown Podcast with me. Join me again very soon, and I will be back with another guest. I'm going to go into the weekend now and have, well, a bit of a rest actually. I'm going to put my feet up and have a weekend off. This week has actually felt like I've been doing a little bit of a 9-to-5 job. This has been really good. This has been the break that I kind of needed in a way, just doing the podcasts during the day and then having a weekend off. So I'm going to go and do what normal people do at the weekend, apart from the going out bit, because I can't go out. So anyway, I'm signing off. I'm going to leave you with another little treat. I'm going to leave you with one of Ian's songs which he recorded a short while ago. So enjoy, and don't forget, keep liking, commenting, sharing and all that usual stuff. And more importantly, keep being safe, keep being careful, and keep washing those hands. So I'm going to leave you with Ian Fox and leave you with this wonderful song. This is from The Phantom of the Opera, The Music of the Night.
Time sharpens, heightens each sensation. Darkness stirs and wakes imagination. Silently the senses abandon their defenses, helpless to resist the notes I write, for I compose the music of the night. Slowly, gently, night unfurls its splendor. Grasp it, sense it, tremulous and tender. Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling light, and listen to the music of the night. sweet intoxication. Touch me, trust me, savor